Have you ever been told that you're single because men are intimidated by you? Because you're too much, you're too successful, too confident, too rich, too beautiful. I was told that when I was single for a couple of years in my early 20s. I had a great job, I had great friends, I put a good amount of effort into my looks, and for some reason, all my friends would be pursued by these really great guys, and I just didn't feel like I was being pursued at all. And if I was, it was by men who I wouldn't describe as masculine or the type of men that I would want to end up with. I really believed that I was too much, I was too confident, I was too independent, done all this traveling, great job, and that just made men afraid because that's what society tells me, like men are afraid of a strong, independent woman. However, I would like to argue that is not the case, and when I learned the truth about men, everything changed, and I met my husband within 8 months. Before I met my husband, I was attracting all of these great guys. I was being asked out, I was being pursued because I understood two things that I'm about to explain to you, and that is biology and polarity. If you're new here, my name is Talia. It's great to have you. On this channel, I talk about feminine lifestyle, wellness, relationships, and just general girly things. If that's something you're interested in, please subscribe. I would love to have you as a part of the community. So, when I understood biology of a man and a female, but mainly when I understood a man's biology and the way his body is structured to live in this world, I really had to change my behavior. You see, if you think about men back in caveman times, their natural, most primal urges, they were to provide, to go out to hunt, to protect, to provide and to protect. If you look at women back in those times, our biology, the way that we're set up, what we're meant to do because of our physicality and the way that our brains work, that was to nurture the children because we give birth to children, they rely on us, and then together. I was moving through the world listening to what culture told me, that being a strong, independent woman is the way to go, and that's what's attractive to a man. A woman who can take care of herself, a woman who doesn't need anything from a man. That's a lie. You see, men are biologically wired to provide and to protect. Now, if he is meeting a woman or on a date with a woman, he is going to want to, a healthy masculine man is going to want to provide for her and protect her. If that woman is like, nope, I don't need it, I don't need you to protect me, I can look after myself. No, I don't need you to provide for me, I can pay for my meal, I make my own money, I'm successful, I do this, I do that, I'm strong, da 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 da. You are actually denying him the opportunity to live out what his body is telling him to do. It's not a matter of him being afraid of you or intimidated by you. It's like you're blocking what is natural for him, and he is not going to want to be in a relationship with someone who prevents him from doing what is natural, which is providing and protect, what makes him feel good, what makes him feel fulfilled, to give. And now we can kind of talk about polarity, because they're very interwoven together. When I talk about polarity, I'm talking about feminine and masculine energies, and how a masculine man, the energy and his biology, it's all about giving, it's all about providing and protecting and having a container and having his territory. And a woman and femininity, that energy, that polarity requires her to be soft, to be open, to be receiving. You can even see this in sex. Our literal biology is like a man gives and a woman receives. It's just the way that we were made. So if you can understand that when you are acting masculine, think of two batteries. When you put two negative charges together or two positive charges together, it's repulsing. You're not going to attract a masculine man if you're acting masculine. You need to be acting feminine. You need to be feminine. And luckily, because you're a woman, it is your most natural way to be feminine. It's just society, and I think the world we live in makes us put up a bit of a masculine wall or a mask. But once you take that down, once you open yourself up to be a bit more vulnerable, a bit more open, a bit more allowing yourself to ask for help, a bit more relaxed and stepping back and letting him do the work, he will feel fulfilled, and then you will feel like he's taking care of you, and that creates the really beautiful polarity. You want a mix of feminine and masculine, and they go together like this. Masculine and masculine doesn't work, feminine and feminine doesn't work. Even if you look at homosexual relationships, most of the time you'll get a masculine person and a feminine person, and they fulfill those roles because that's how energetics works. Saying that men are intimidated by you or you're too big for them, there will be a portion of the population who, yes, they probably are afraid of it and they have fragile egos. Most of the time, a man is just attracted to a woman who wants him to provide for her, who desires his protection, who desires his manliness and receives it gratefully with love and joy. When I was in my masculine in my earlier 20s and I was repulsing all these men, it was because I would go on these dates and I would actually compete. Like, I really thought that they wanted a strong, independent, powerful, I don't need no man woman. And so we go on these dates and I find myself trying to one up them. And that's not what anyone wants from a partnership. They don't want competition. They want a safe space. They want things that they can't have. You know, men have competition with other men. They don't want that in their woman. They want their woman to be soft and receptive and grateful and loving and joyful, not constantly trying to prove herself. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to prove myself. So I would encourage you, if you are told that you intimidate men or you have that belief, see if you can shift your behavior a little bit to just stepping back to softening, smiling a bit more, being a bit more warm, asking for help a little bit more, just shifting into your feminine. And if you need more tips on that, I've got loads of videos on my channel, so just go through those, and there's some really practical tips that you can look into to help get into your feminine. And I think you'll notice that more men will pursue you and more masculine men will pursue you. And if, like me, the men you're attracting are quite feminine, they will no longer be attracted to you because feminine doesn't work with feminine. Now, once you can understand these things in a logical perspective, there's some mindset work that I would really highly recommend, because this was the kicker. Once I learned how to do this, my world changed, not just my dating life, but my relationship with all the men in my world. Is I identified my subconscious beliefs about men. I subconsciously believed that men were, all they wanted was sex, that they were fragile and weak, that they were dangerous, and that they were just out for themselves. Like, I just, based on the experiences that I had and the cultural rhetoric, that was what my beliefs were. When I decided to look for the good in men, everything shifted. When I stopped focusing on those negative aspects of men and assuming them to be like that, and instead decided assuming that most men are good and that there's a handful of men who are not good characters, then everything shifted. The men around me, like my dad and my friends' husbands and just my guy friends and the people I was around, started to click into more of like this protective and giving role. Like, they were so much more helpful to me and wanting to provide for me, and just in a non-romantic way. Like, I just felt so much more cared for because I saw and I noticed and I trained my eye to look for the good in men, and they felt it. They felt the energy shift. When I was assuming that every man was horrible, people wouldn't have wanted to be around me, but men wouldn't have wanted to be around me. Do you as a woman want to be around a man who assumes that every woman is narcissistic and every woman is just out for themselves and vain and just going to play with you? Like, no, I'm not going to want to be around a man like that. So why would a man want to be around me if I believe that his entire sex is bad? I started looking for really good traits in men and calling them out in my mind, and sometimes I would tell them, because men love a compliment too. Thank you so much for helping me. You are so fantastic at helping. Or, do you know, you're so intelligent. I really wouldn't have thought about it that way. I'm so glad that you explained it to me like that. When you look for men, you see more good. Your subconscious belief changes because you're like, oh, hang on, there are some really great men out there. Then men want to be around you more, and you're going to attract those sorts of people into your life. And then once you meet your man, maybe you go on a date with them, or maybe you meet them through friends. One, they are attracted to you because you're warm and open, and you let them help you, and you let them provide, and you also make them feel good because you believe the good in them, and you look for the good in them, and you call it out. And it has to be genuine. Don't just call out good things as a compliment to make them feel good. Actually, genuinely, what can I admire about this man, and he will feel it. And a good, strong, masculine man will be attracted to that. He'll be attracted to a woman who is open and loving and positive and warm. So that is my advice to you. For those of you who think that you intimidate men, I'm sure that you intimidate some men, but most of the time it's actually a matter of polarity and you not making space and being open and receptive to a masculine man and letting him do what his biology urges him to do, which is provide and protect and make you his territory. I can talk more about territory in another video. It's very interesting the more I learn about it. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe. I would love to see you in my next video. If you have any notes or comments, I would love to hear from you in the comments below.